In one of the cities of Greece, where the columns of temples still remembered Socrates, there lived a young man named Theon. He was the son of a wealthy merchant. His house was full of gold, his chests full of jewels, his table full of delicacies that even kings could not always afford. He had slaves, horses, garments worn only by the nobility. He had everything. But Theon was unhappy. He woke up with a feeling of emptiness. He lay down with a heaviness in his chest. He tried wine, it brought no joy. He tried women, they gave no warmth. He tried power, it seemed like a game to him. He lived like in a golden cage, and he was suffocating. One day he asked his father, "Father, why am I unhappy? I have everything." "You are unhappy because you have nothing that you created yourself," the old man replied. "Everything you have was given to you. You did not fight for it. You did not suffer for it. You never woke up in the cold and never counted every coin. You do not know what need is. That is why you have no meaning." Theon did not understand. He left, offended by his father's words. He sat in the garden, looked at the fountain, and thought, "What does did not suffer mean? Why suffer if you cannot suffer?" That night he could not sleep. His soul tossed about like a bird in a cage, and he made a decision he would leave home. He would take only old clothes, a little bread, and a flask of water. He would go out into the world to understand what his father had spoken of. He did not know that this step was the first step toward wisdom, and that what awaited him was not just poverty. What awaited him was a blessing. Theon walked for 3 days. He left the city and headed toward the mountains where shepherds and the poor lived. On the second day, rain caught up with him. He was soaked to the bone, his bread turned soggy, his feet were blistered. He entered a cave to wait out the night. He was alone, hungry, and frightened. He did not know what to do. He did not know how to make fire. He did not know how to find water. He did not know how to defend himself. He was rich, but his wealth remained in the city. Here, in the mountains, he was nothing, less than nothing. He sat in the cave and wept. He thought he would die. He cursed his father, cursed himself, cursed fate. It seemed to him that the world was cruel and there was no justice. But in the morning, when the sun rose, he saw an old man. The old man sat at the entrance to the cave, mending his clothes, and looked at him with a kind smile. "You cried all night," said the old man. "I heard your cries. I have lived here, in the neighboring cave, for 20 years. What happened?" Theon told him everything. He spoke of his wealth, his emptiness, his father's advice, his own foolishness. He thought the old man would pity him, but the old man laughed. "You complained that everything was fine," said the old man, "and you complained that everything was bad. Theon, you do not know what you want. You are rich, and you complain. You are poor, and you complain. Do you even know how to be happy?" Theon fell silent. He did not know what to answer. "Listen," said the old man. "I will tell you a story. This story is not about wealth and not about poverty. It is about true blessing. In the city of Sparta, there lived a man named Ariston. He was known for having nothing, yet lacking nothing. His home was a hillside. His bed was the earth. His food was bread and olives. Students often came to him, and each time he told them the same thing. "Give up what you do not need." They asked, "What do we not need?" "Everything without which you can live." But they did not understand. They thought Ariston had lost his mind. And one day, a young warrior named Cleon came to him. He was rich, handsome, and strong, but he was unhappy. "Ariston," he said, "I have everything, but I want to die. What should I do?" "Give everything away," Ariston replied, "but I am afraid of being left with nothing." "Then you are already with nothing. You have things, but you do not have yourself." Cleon thought. He was a smart man. He understood that his wealth was suffocating him. He understood that he was not the master of his possessions, he was their slave. He left, but returned a month later in simple clothes with empty hands. "I gave everything away," he said. "I am free." "What do you feel?" asked Ariston. "Fear," answered Cleon. "I am afraid I will starve, afraid I will freeze, afraid I will not survive." Ariston smiled. "That is good. Fear is the beginning of wisdom. Now you know what need is. Now you will appreciate every piece of bread, every ray of sun, every drop of water. Now you are truly living." Cleon stayed with Ariston. He learned to live in poverty. He learned not to be afraid. He learned to find joy in small things. He learned to be free. After 10 years, he became a sage. He was called the Fortunate One because he smiled every day. People from the city came to him for advice. They brought gold, but he refused. He said, "Gold is not needed by one who has found himself." Theon listened to the old man. He looked at his face. There was no trace of suffering on it. There was deep, calm wisdom. "Can you teach me to live like you?" asked Theon. "I can show you the way," said the old man, "but you must walk it yourself." The old man stood up and said, "Poverty is not a curse. It is purification. When you have nothing, you begin to see. You see that bread smells different when you are hungry. You see that water is sweeter when you are thirsty. You see that the sunset is more beautiful when you do not know if you will see it tomorrow. Poverty teaches you what palaces cannot. It teaches you to appreciate." Theon nodded. He stayed with the old man. He learned to make fire from wet wood. He learned to find water in the mountains. He learned not to fear the night. He learned to listen to the wind. He learned to be human. Several months passed. Theon lost weight. His skin became rough. His hands became calloused, but his eyes shone. He was no longer that frightened boy who had wept in the cave. He had become someone who could live without palaces, without slaves, without gold. He understood that his former life had not been life. It had been a game. And real life, it was there, where there is sun, wind, hunger, and the joy of a piece of stale bread. He decided to return to the city, not to become rich again, but to see the world with new eyes. He entered his former home. Everything was still in place: gold, jewels, slaves. But he looked at it as if it were a dream. He looked at his father, who was growing older and was still so serious. His father embraced him and wept. "You came back! I thought you were dead." "No, father," answered Theon. "I did not die. I only began to live." "What did you see? What did you understand?" Theon sat on the floor, as he once had in the cave, and said, "I understood that poverty is not a curse. It is a blessing. I understood that when you have everything, you do not know how to appreciate anything. And when you have nothing, you know how to appreciate everything. I understood that true treasures are not in chests. They are inside us. You just did not see them. I did not see them." His father listened and was silent. He looked at his son and saw not a boy, but a man. He saw a man who had found what he had not been looking for. "You have changed," said his father. "You have become different." "Yes," answered Theon. "I became free. And now I know that poverty is not a lack. It is a door to what truly matters." Many years passed. Theon became a teacher. He did not take gold for his lessons. He lived simply, as he had in the mountains. He ate bread and olives, slept on straw, and taught people what had been revealed to him in the cave. He said, "You fear poverty. You consider it a punishment. But do you know what a real punishment is? A real punishment is to never know what need is, never to feel hunger, so you understand the taste of bread. Never to be cold, so you know the value of warmth. Never to lose, so you learn to appreciate." Poverty is a hidden blessing. It teaches us to be human. It makes us strong. It shows us that there are things which money cannot buy: dignity, honor, freedom. When you are poor, you are not afraid to lose, because you already have nothing. When you are poor, you are not afraid to be deceived, because you have nothing to lose. When you are poor, you are not afraid of death, because you have already died to the empty world. He died in deep old age. Before his death, he said to his students, "Do not fear poverty, fear poverty of spirit. For one who is poor in spirit will not find happiness in gold or in glory. But one who is poor in body, yet rich in soul, is free even in the filthiest prison."